Hello and welcome to episode 9 of my Jamaicanese vlog, where it's all about the genealogy report that I had done on myself. So for a really long time I wanted to know about my family and who I descended from. Although the earliest time slot in the current genealogy report that I had done is the marriage of my great-great-grandparents in the year 1900, it still made for a very fascinating read. I'll definitely try to pay again to get some more information, if there's any more information earlier than 1900s on record for me here in Jamaica. So on my mother's side, or my maternal line, unsurprisingly, I knew this already, that my mother's family was based in and around Ocheriers in the parish St. Anne, which is like a lush green northern parish for those who aren't from Jamaica. And we kind of have a nickname for it here in Jamaica, calling it the Garden Parish. Yeah, so my maternal line all was based in St. Anne, Ocheriers and the surrounding communities, until my grandmother moved to Kingston in the 1960s, just after having my mother. She moved to Kingston to become a waitress, and my mother followed her in the 1980s to become a waitress as well. So my great-great-grandfather was a farmer who at the age of 26 married a woman 6 years his junior called Edith Levers. And they got married in November 1900, and obviously she was pregnant because they got married in November, and early in 1901 they had their first baby. Overall, the Taylors had 8 children, 5 boys and 3 girls. Interestingly, all of the 5 boys survived, and unfortunately 2 of the 3 girls didn't. Both of them died as babies basically, while the only surviving girl became my great grandmother. So my great grandmother, Evelyn Taylor, married William Dunn in 1934, and they had 6 children, one of which was my grandmother, who was born in 1939, Desireen Dunn. My grandmother didn't get married, but her 3rd child and 2nd girl was my mother. So unsurprisingly, on my father's side, or my paternal line, I really don't have a lot of information, and neither did the Registrar General's department. I do know though that my father's mother was named Eulalie Higgins, and she had her first child at 14. She had my father, her 2nd child, at the age of 16, and by the age of 26 she already had 5 children. She unfortunately died at the age of 39, 6 years before I was born. Yeah, so that's basically what I found out. I also found out all the kids of all my uncles and a lot of other information, but the bit about Peter Matthew Taylor was I think the highlight of, the report. So I wanted to share some highlights. So no females were born on my mother's side of my family after my mother, and for 30 years only boys were born until my mom gave birth to my younger sister. That's interesting. My maternal line is from Ocheriers, which I said, in the parish of St. Anne. More specifically, the communities are Brednut Hill, Buckfield, New Hope, and Paradise. My great-great-maternal grandfather, Peter Matthew Taylor, registered all 8 of his children, including the 2 daughters that died. That's a little bit surprising, because back in those days, and even now in Jamaica, it's like a woman's duty to register the children. So the fact that my great-great-grandfather took it upon himself to register all 8 of his children himself, including the deaths of his 2 daughters, or 2 of his 3 daughters, even the staff at the Registrar General was telling me that that's kind of unique. What else was there? Yeah, my great-great-grandparents got married in the year 1900, and the bride was obviously pregnant at the time. My paternal grandmother had 5 children and died before she was 40 years old. My mother's family moved to Kingston between the 1960s and the 1980s, while my father's family already resided in and around the city, capital city. Yeah, so I think it was an interesting report. As I said, Peter Matthew Taylor, someday I kind of want to write like a story, a short story or something about his life, just kind of try, you know. I think it would be interesting. I think it was interesting growing up in the late 1800s into the early 1900s and all the changes that brought. You know, back then there were no motor vehicles. You know, you're like in a little country town in the middle of the Caribbean. You know, getting married, having kids, losing 2 of your kids, you know, growing and watching the world evolve. So someday I kind of want to write a story, but I'll end it there for today. So that ends episode 9 of the Jamaicanese vlog. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If I said something interesting or you want to know more information, feel free to leave comments below. If you're in Jamaica and you want to get your own genealogy report done, it's $1,500 an hour with the Registrar General's Department. I paid for 3 hours, which was $4,500. And that works out to like $50 US, and I got like a 7-page report with all my information. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching.